works.
You have to put love into it. If not, it's not gonna taste good. That's the difference.
This
Yeah.
morning on my way here, I stopped. I had a taste for a cold.
I saw it.
Cold
I was
coffee.
about to say something. I didn't say anything.
Well,
but,
let me tell you the story about that, though. I drove up to the. I went to Starbucks.
Yeah, and we have drive-through, so he could have stopped at me.
Well, I have some free, because I've built up some points and different things that people have given me, gift certificates and so I had some points built up,
Okay.
and I could use them. I went through the Starbucks and I ordered an espresso. I don't know what it was. It's shaken something with oat milk or
Okay.
almond milk, maybe. I'm not sure what it was. And I ordered it in a venti, but I said I want very little ice. And she said, "Well, do you want me to fill up the rest of it with milk?" And I said, "No, I don't want milk. I mean, fill it up with coffee." She said, "I can't do that." I said, "Why not?" She said, "The drink is mainly ice." You're charging people $5.95 for a cup of ice? She goes, "Basically, yes." I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah, so you had to drink twice to get the amount of caffeine in your body.
Well,
If
they
you go to Miapa,
they give you 4 shots, but they put 4 shots in a tall,
Yeah,
a
of
grande, and a venti. All they do is charge you more for the size of the cup and adding the milk.
the coffee won't change. But like we have a variety of coffees. I was not a coffee person before until I started working at Miapa, and now I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the taste. I enjoy the smell of it. Every morning is something that you get to really, it gets to you.
You're Nicaraguan,
Yes,
born in Miami, but grew up in Nicaragua.
that's correct.
Let's talk about leadership and some of the things that you've seen. How long did you live in Miami after you were born?
2 years, and then my parents decided to go back.
Why did they come here in the first place?
Nicaragua is a third world country, very poor. There was a war going on at that time, so they were forced to leave Nicaragua, and then they came separately to the United States with their parents. They got to know each other in Miami. They were introduced by a cousin of my mom's. After 6 months, my dad proposed, and they got married in Miami, and they had us.
Mm-hmm. And then they went back because...
Then the war was over,
Okay.
and he wanted to go back because, everything was there for them.
What did your parents do for a living?
They were both into marketing.
Okay.
Yes, so I went for marketing too in Nicaragua, 4 years college.
And, well, we were talking beforehand, you were talking that your uncle is a doctor
Yes.
in Nicaragua. What city
Managua, the capital.
is that where you grew up?
Yes.
In the capital?
Yes.
Somebody else Amanda is in our Dale Carnegie class and going through the program, which last week we had Jose Raven on from Venezuela.
Yes.
And Jose was talking about in Venezuela that, like the way he termed it was he lived in a bubble, because in the city it was like safe and content, and when he went outside the city it was totally different.
On my way here, I was thinking the same. Like, I was raised in a bubble. It's a bubble of protection, like nothing is going to happen to you. You don't see the outside, and then when you go by yourself, it gets to you, because you're not prepared for what's outside of that bubble.
What was it like going through high school and grade school in Nicaragua as what you see other people's children going through here?
I won't say it's easier, but it's completely different. We don't have so many opportunities. We were supposed to be there at 7 a.m. We used to be done with school at 4. Then we didn't have a home by the time, so we used to live with my grandparents. So we were dropped to my grandparents' had to do homework there, and then my mom would come from work, and then she would just go over what we did through the day and had dinner, and then the day will start over. So until I was like 14, maybe, we got our first home. I always had to share a room with my sister. It was tough. But I loved growing up in Nicaragua. My best friend still lives there, I talk to her a lot. And I always try to go back to see half of my family is there. I got the chance to bring my parents to live here in Miami now.
That's wonderful. So your parents are here.
They are. They got here like 6 months ago.
Wow.
Finally,
Wow.
After 2 years of.
So after high school, did you say you came back to the United States when you were 21?
I came back when I was 21. Yes.
What did you do between high school and age 21 when you came back to America?
Well, I went to college for 4 years. Graduated.
What college?
It's called Thomas More. It's very small. It's just 4 halls. It's a small city, but the best we have there. I always had, what do you call when the university supports you? Scholarships.
Scholarships?
I got one there. I did it for 4 years, graduated. I worked for a year at a call center, which is the highest paid job once you graduate. I saved money, and then one day I told my mom I'm leaving. I started doing some research. I wanted to be a pastry chef. I got a scholarship at Le Cordon Bleu in Miramar, Miami, and I left. I did 1 year and 8 months there, graduated, also with honor roll, and then I moved to Gainesville.
So let's talk about, is it Cordon Bleu? Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu.
All right. What was that experience like, and talk about some of the things they teach you outside of cooking?
They teach you to learn how to taste things. You had to. So I remember I didn't like cinnamon, and they made me put a cinnamon stick underneath my tongue so I could taste it for it was like 4 hours having it in my mouth to develop. You had to try things to know if you like it or not. At least give it a try, and that's got to me. And since that, before I was a very picky eater. After that mindset changing, at least try it, give it a chance. Now I can say I like to try everything. I don't stop myself for trying new things. Like if I don't like it, I don't, but at least I tried.
You had mentioned before, as Reagan, our producer here, was setting up, you had mentioned that it was difficult because you really didn't know English.
I did not. So you learn basic English in high school. I never thought I was going to have to move or leave Nicaragua. So English was not in my head, not a priority to learn it properly. My mom did invest it in us, and she tried to pay, school for us, and I didn't like it, so I dropped. And then I had to move here. I had to go to school, and it was a challenge for me because half of what I was reading I did not understand. So I had to study harder and push myself harder because I like to set myself goals. And I graduated with honors in Nicaragua, and I did at Le Cordon Bleu, not knowing English.
That's fantastic. Well, how did you get involved as a district manager with MIAPA? What was the process that you went through to get to that point?
Well, I moved to Gainesville, and I started working at a cookie place at the mall, Mrs. Fields. Right immediately, I got the position of the manager there. It was another challenge because I used to work with my friends, and it was hard to get through that because, sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. That store closed, unfortunately. The mall was not doing good. Then I started working at Shands. I was handling the area with Unit 56 is kids with cancer. And I got really depressed. That got to me. So I started looking at different job, and MIAPA was hiring. So I went for an interview with Peter, and I got hired as a manager. I've been with MIAPA for 6 years, and I just got the promotion to be a district. Well, it was first manager, then general manager from the Gainesville store, and now I just got promoted to district manager.
That's so you oversee 3 stores, 3 facilities now, and you are hoping to expand in the future.
I'm hoping that's my goal, my personal goal.
Is to expand the footprint that MIAPA has in
Generate more employment, you know. A lot of kids that went through what I went are the ones that we hire at MIAPA. So I like the concept of giving the opportunity of someone that is not perfect with English, having the opportunity to grow and learn.
Yeah. So I've been in all 3 of your stores, and I noticed that is that the diversity inside of the facilities is amazing.
Yes.
And tapping into that, what are some of the challenges as a leader when you're hiring people that, that are going through the things that you went through when you came to this country?
Well, you get to know a lot of people, a lot of different personalities. What we look when we hire someone is smiles, you know, that positive attitude, someone that wants it, you know, that's craving, you know, like that needs to be pushed, you know, like have something. A lot of, like, I will say more than 50% of the employees that we currently have to pay their own bills. So they need the job.
So they're not living at home with mom or dad. They're out on their own. And,
that's correct.
Okay.
As I did, as Peter did, as Loli did, which is Peter's wife. Yeah, a lot.
That's fascinating. Now, many of your staff are bilingual, at least trilingual, quadlingual.
Yes.
You know, they know. Yet, I also noted that there was many. Probably only English-speaking people that worked for you also, which is kind of a flip-flop of some of the things that we've talked about in class, where you know you get challenged because of your accent and you know Jose and Shayla and other people that are in the class that.
Talia.
Yep. Many, you know, and we hear those stories. What is it like for that person that only knows one language, which is English, working at MIAPA, and how do you help them through that challenge?
It's amazing. I have to say we have a few kids like that right now, and I have to say Daniel, it's one of the kids that we have. His parents are from Cuba. He doesn't speak any Spanish. He understands this because he grew up in that environment. But the way I help him out is that I will talk to him in Spanish, and then he'll like so slow down, like, and then I go and I say it in English. And then if you ever go to MIAPA and you see him, and sometimes you will hear him asking for a sandwich in Spanish, his Spanish have gotten so much better. It makes us proud. And we also had employees, and I will give you an example. Bianca Silva, she was from Brazil. No Spanish, no English. We started her as a barista. Now she speaks 3 languages.
Wow.
She moved to Miami. She's doing amazing.
So you kind of focus on the educational side of it, of helping people learn other languages. So many people, what I see and what I do, so many people in America don't want to learn another language. Is that would you not hire somebody because they don't have that open mind, or?
No, we build that mindset in them, which is different. Yeah.
And that eagerness. My daughter now, my son, you know, marrying a Cuban lady, he can understand it, speak a little bit. Sachi, his wife, helps him with that. But when she's around her parents, I mean, that's all they speak. It's just,
Spanish.
it's just, you know, pure Cuban world.
It's easier. My mind thinks in Spanish and it translates. So sometimes I forget they don't speak English and I will just go out of it. And then you can see their face like, okay, I'm so confused like what you just said. And I speak really fast in Spanish, so it gets harder for them. But then the way I see it, I understand he might not understand 100% what I said, but his ear is getting
Better.
refined.
It's kind of like
You
the
know.
cinnamon under your tongue. You have to
Correct.
start getting
And then I slow
the
down.
environment.
It's like, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I forgot about it. I asked for this. I said this.
Okay.
And if they ever have a question, like they have to type in Spanish. Our kitchen only speaks Spanish. So we have Hannah who only speaks English. And if you guys ever go there and she's there, try to, her pronunciation has gotten so much better. Typing also, they improve a lot. It's good to see the development in them, the growing part, the learning part in the team. It's a very young crowd that we hire.
In class the other night, you have an employee. Is she the general manager of the Gainesville store?
Shayla? Yeah, she's my GM at Gainesville.
A wonderful young lady. And I think the whole class got to see something that I love to witness. We were doing some drills in class, doing some things, and she went through and did it in English. And then I called her over and I whispered her in her ear and asked her if she could do it in her native language. And it took her a time to think it through to be able to come up with the wording. Yet when she did it, everybody saw a completely different person.
It's different.
The inhibition, but it's not just what comes out of your mouth.
It's the facial expressions, like
it's the confidence that just comes out of your life.
Yes, you feel comfortable doing it in that language because it's your main.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of her. Her improvement has been to the roof. Yes.
You have touched on and talked about the leadership and how you help and coach these young people. How did you learn your leadership style? What was it?
Ooh.
What was it that was compressed in your life that came out?
It's a lot. I think my grandparents had a huge chunk in there. They both work really hard, differently, completely differently. One was more into sit properly, don't say that out loud, kind of like people get, like whatever you say, sorry, be careful with how you say it because you might hurt someone. The other one was more with following him. Like he grew up very poor. He had to sustain his family. He had seven siblings, and he had to work for them. So different, the way, it's just more seen through my life what they build up to that got to me. But as leadership, like 100% I'll have to give that to Peter. He has forced me and worked with me through the years that I have been in the company.
For 6 years, he's really helped shape your...
day. Like things that he might not even notice that he is doing, but he does.
What do you pick up from him? What are the subtle little things that maybe he's not teaching you, but you're picking up?
Always try to see the positive more than the negative. It might not have been a great day, but you did this. We improved. Like we have an amazing team. Like we're not, we're short-staffed, but what we have, it's so built up, so close, so like family-oriented that it's worth fighting for, keep going for,
You're listening to MotivationU the Podcast. I'm speaking with Amanda Lopez, Miapa Restaurants here in the Central Florida territory, and they have 3 locations: Jonesville, Alachua, and Gainesville, and it's amazing. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, get into a little bit more about the leadership and some of the things that Amanda is doing in her own training, plus what her plans are for her team after she graduates from the Dale Carnegie class. So we'll be back with you right after this.
We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Looking for more reasons to celebrate? We have them here at Celebration Point. Enjoy some of the newest additions to our already celebratory lineup, like Dave & Buster's, Les Macarons, and Prime and Pearl. There's always a reason to celebrate. Join us anytime for any occasion. Celebration Point, where Gators come to celebrate.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to MotivationU the Podcast. My name is Bob Ganzak. My guest today is Amanda Lopez. We're coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill inside the Coach's Podcast room here at Celebration Point. Our friend Svein Dirkelbotten's incredible thought process and his team that has put together just an incredible place to be here. Now, General Manager, Managing Partner Andrew Johnstone came in before we started our show, and he was talking to Amanda about one of the dishes that she found that she absolutely loved. She came here for dessert one time and had, what was it that you had?
The bread pudding.
And
I came with Loli and Peter, and I thought to myself, that is the best dessert I ever had. And I went for culinary school, you know, baking. And he blew my mind. And
so while we were on break, Andrew walks in and presents here a dish to Amanda Amanda's been enjoying a little bit of bread pudding while we were on break and is anticipating finishing that as soon as we're done. So
that was a nice gesture from him.
Yeah, very nice. The food here is absolutely incredible, and the ambiance that is created. You know, you were saying earlier when you were talking to Reagan that you're not really a sports fan.
No.
So she didn't know who Steve Spurrier was. Doesn't know a lot about American football, and you know, and that's one of the cool things about this restaurant is people look at it from one standpoint that you got to be a Gator fan. No. If you're a people fan, a food fan, a sports fan, a Gator fan, any type of individual, you're going to find it here. There's a lot of people, like we have somebody in our class, Victoria Kneva, who
love
absolutely loves and teaches people about bourbon. And, they have many bourbons here and tequilas and so many different things. So it's a cocktail, if it's just food, dessert, a main dish. I love the shrimp and grits, just absolutely the best I've ever had. So
I'll have to try that one next. About Victoria, I got to go out with her a few days ago. She's an absolutely amazing girl. And I'm so glad I got involved in going to this class because I've gotten to know a lot of people. And so far, I think the 21 that we are going through this process and this class, we have gotten very close to each other, and we have been supporting each other outside of it. And it's been amazing.
So the Dale Carnegie class is what Amanda is referring to. It's an 8-week program. We have another one coming up in April 26th. It starts. People want to register, they can go to jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com, jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com, find a course, and just look for the one. There's a couple of up there. Just look for the one in Gainesville if you want to take it in Gainesville. Look for the one in Lake City if you want to go in Lake City. There may be one soon in Valdosta, Jacksonville, some other places that people can register for. But the program is 8 weeks. We build on 5 different things. We build on confidence, people skills, communication, leadership, and managing stress. Which has been a big part of your world over the last few weeks.
I think that was the hardest class for me. Yeah.
Well, why?
Because it's and I told you this, the change of fitting into a new position and fit it properly. It has been stressful for me because I am the kind of person that wants to give 110% all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a little bit hard on myself when I don't feel I'm doing it at 110.
Uh-huh.
So it's plus, managing so many people at the same time, trying to be good enough for them, having enough time for all of them, not just being with one, with all of them. And you have taught us that it's very important to take time to get to know your employees, and I have been trying to achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, but I've learned how to manage my time, organize myself better so I can organize them, which has been a huge positive thing for me.
Mm-hmm. One of the, we talked about this the other night when we were talking about stress, and it's part of what leadership is that, the excuses that people usually use that they cannot take the class is usually that they don't have the time. Well, they don't have the money or the time. But many times, I just don't have the time. Mm-hmm. Amanda, you would be like shocked if you knew how many times I heard that. I mean, you think, well, you hear that a lot. No, I hear that like 20 times more, 100 times more than you would think I hear that. I just don't have the time. And yet what they don't realize is that what you learn in the class helps you with your time. You and I shared that the other day when you asked me a question, and I said, it's what you're learning in the class that's going to carve out more time for you. Leadership, there's so many components to leadership. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate, the way people see you, which you can't control. Yet, when you're stressed, you stress everybody around you too.
Yes, and I have been learning how to manage that because, positive thinking, and I pass everything to my crew as I go. So I always tell them, my GMs, first of all, because they are the face they see every day, the rest of the team. So it's like, just come with a positive attitude. Like, you are the first thing they will go for. If you go and walk to the restaurant, like, if you don't want to be there, like, they're going to gain that energy from you. But if you wake up and it's like, I'm ready for today, let's get this done, we got this, like 100% today, we're going to do so much, like that's what you're gonna achieve.
What is it that you would like to see in your own self as you develop your leadership style? How do you see yourself going forward in the world as a leader?
Ooh, that's, I think it's, for me, it's just small details. I'm a detailed person. So it's just passing on what I learned. I think that's what's going to make me special, if you could see it that way.
Just taking what you...
Transmitting what I've learned. I think that's the best I can do for them as a leader.
How do you handle uncomfortable conversations?
I try to change topics sometimes, or just like cut it like nicely, politely, like.
Yeah, just they're difficult, right? You've had a few of those. You've shared some of those with the class.
Yeah, you just try to smile, get it done. Like try to change the thinking of that person into positive thinking. And it's a process in your mind to get to that point. No one works at a perfect world. We always have people that will get a little bit complicated on your end, but it's how you see it, how you take it, how you keep trying, never stop trying until you reach your goal with that person.
We talked about diversity a little bit earlier in Gainesville, Alachua County is very diverse population that makes up this area. I mean, you have people from all walks of life here. And what are some of the things that you approach your team? Like when you hire somebody in, how do you touch on that diversity standpoint? What do you share with the team as part of their onboarding process?
So I do a lot of interviews. The first thing I do is I introduce myself, and then I try to make them release some stress because you can tell they're like very anxious about the interview. Some of them is their first job. So I try to ease the moment, and it's like, how's your day going? Like, tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from? Are your parents from there too? How old are you? Like, oh, you look so young. Like, I try to ease the conversation to make it easier on them. It's like, you're going to be okay. It's just simple questions. I just want to get to know you a little bit better. And just like that. And I've developed myself to a point that I catch things really fast, and I think that's a quality I have. So I get to read people very easily. And some of them, great kids, and it's just the background, like I look for the vibe they get when I talk to them. Like,
when you say kids, like many of your employees are, what age group? Are they college students?
College students.
College students.
So college students, their main responsibility is not work. It's just to sustain themselves, but their main goal is to get through classes, like graduate.
So you kind of work their schedules around their schedule, you work with them on that.
And then they work with us when we need them. So it's a win-win situation.
That's great. Just talking with Peter that day, that he's ingrained in the development of people.
Yes.
And you being one of those people.
Yes, we believe in developing them and making them grow inside our company. Like if we have them, they're good. They have the skills. Let's get you ready for success.
In your world, what have been some of the challenges that he's challenged you to make changes in your life?
Oh, taking time for myself. And I think, I will say this, I'm a workaholic. Like, I have no breaks. Like, I work 7 days a week. I don't turn off my phone at all. I feel I should be available for them. Because I try to put myself on their shoes. Like, if I need help, I will love to have someone that will answer quickly for me and not leave me alone. So I try to be that person for them. So it has taken upon me, my personal life, because it takes a lot of my time, personal time, but I do not regret it. But I have been working, the class have helped me a lot to learn how to take time for me.
You have to, and it's part of a development process. Most people don't. They want to get from point A to point B, and they don't understand that you have to go through a process to get there.
It's a process.
It's a caterpillar going to a butterfly, right? There's a lot of pain that you can't speed up that process, because if you do, the butterfly won't be developed in the right way to be able to be a butterfly. If you try, when the caterpillar goes into a cocoon, if you would try to speed up that process or help them through the struggle of going through that metamorphosis, it's going to be a challenge. And that's where you are in your leadership. One of the big challenges that you're going to have is the ability to delegate and to be able to walk away.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that say, and I'm not saying everybody and I'm not saying you, but a lot of people that say, I'm a workaholic, I look at that and go, you need to develop your leadership skills. Because if you work 24/7, 365, you're going to burn out. You're going to.
I agree with you, but thank God Peter gave me his seat at your class, and I have been taking a lot of my time to train properly my employees, so there's a point they won't need me, only if there's an emergency.
And that's a challenge also. One of the things in leadership is we're all human.
Yeah.
And, Amanda used an incredible phrase where they won't need me. Yet, Mr. Carnegie said, one of those, and what psychologists have said is that's one of the biggest human wants, is to feel needed.
Correct.
And also as a leader, you start thinking, like, if the team is doing my work, then
What am I going to do?
Yeah, I may be putting myself out of a job. And again, cocoon, caterpillar,
But,
butterfly, it's working through that process of understanding that is not what will happen.
And it is not, and I changed my mentality where get them ready so you can have time to open more.
You said something in class the other night that was really interesting. I do listen to what everybody is saying when they're in front of the room, but it was just like a sidebar before you gave your talk the other night, and it was about Shayla and how much she helped you over the weekend with your thought process. You said, I shut off my phone and I took Saturday to myself because of what Shayla told me.
Yes.
So here is your general manager helping you, create that. Not the incident that happened, but how did you develop that relationship where that feedback is so back and forth?
So Shayla and I have been friends for a few years now, and she got the opportunity. We selected her because she has all the qualities that it takes to be a GM. And we are very proud of her because she has improved a lot. She's doing an amazing job. She started working when she was 17 at Miapa. She earned that. She's 24 now. So with Shayla, I came to her. She's going through the class with me. And, she calmed me down. She went over the principles that we have been learning, and I thought about it, and I was like, I haven't gotten to rest, So she was like, go, turn off your phone. I got this. Like, we're going to be okay. Go to the pool. Go get some sun. Turn off your phone. Because that's the hardest part for me. So I did, and I'm so thankful for that.
Leadership. One of the things that when we look at it, people see us in those 4 ways that we talked about: how we look, what we say, how we say it, what we do. And when people view you in that way, and you're training other people, they see you working 24/7. Either A, they're going to say, no, I don't want to work here because I want a better work-life balance. That's not what I'm looking for. Or you're going to start creating little Amandas, people like you who just don't want to break away from work and develop that. So, but that's a big part of leadership.
We have an amazing team. And I think, I don't want to say little Amandas because they're their own. We have little Arons that we are developing, little Vanessas, little Shaylas that I'm helping develop. But they do all have that mentality. Miapa becomes part of you. And I don't think it is the load of work. It's the family environment that it gets you. Like, you get to know everyone. You see them every day. It's like, it makes you want to go to work. Like, there's no day I have said, I don't like my job. I love my job. It generates stress. Yes, every job, life is stressful, but I will keep doing it because I go for them.
Do you study leaders outside of your company, outside of the restaurant world?
No, but it's something I'm working on. Yes.
Who are some of the people that you've crossed in your life, crossed paths with, that have influenced you as a leader, other than Peter?
Freddie Weeby. It's another person. I've never said this to him, but I think he's an amazing leader.
What are the qualities that you see in Freddie that, because we both admire him.
Yeah. Freddie has always positive thinking, has always a solution. Like, we made a mistake, okay, let's fix it. Let's keep moving. Like, it's in the past, it happened, now how are we going to go moving forward from that? Yeah. And he's another workaholic, I have to say.
Yes, he is.
He does not stop. I get emails from him at 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
but an amazing human being.
Yeah.
Doreen Weeby, too,
Yeah.
I have to say. I admire her a lot.
Yeah. It's, again, we talk about diversity, Ghana, Lebanon, 2 individuals that were born in other parts of the world and came here and have created their own world in the Gainesville, Alachua area. So it's fascinating to see that, and constantly trying to improve their skills all the time. Other leaders, what are the traits that you look for when you meet somebody in a leadership role?
I don't have a name. I think there's some people that they are leaders automatically and they don't have to have big names that you were telling me. We have Aaron Gomez, who is one of my GMs. He just got promoted to be GM of our Jonesville store. Amazing kid. Oh my God, you will get to know him because he's going to be attending your class. But he's a person that's customer oriented. Like, the chip can be going down and he's calm. Like, that says a lot, and then he doesn't have to have a big name to be a leader. Like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know it yet, but he is one.
And that's what this show is all about. It's about the leadership of people, the qualities you see in other individuals. When we talk about, in America, we talk about, leadership, we go back to, George Washington, Martin Luther King, individuals that were iconic in our world. Who are some of the leaders from the Nicaragua world that you really admired in your...
Well, there's Violeta Barrios. She passed away already. She was the first female president in Nicaragua after the war. She was known by my family, friends of my grandparents. Great woman. Like an example to be followed. She fought for Nicaragua's freedom.
And what period of time was that? If you remember, was it?
Oh my, like after 72.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you talk like that's a long time ago. That's some of us are breathing, eating, living, and graduating from high school in those times.
Well, for me, I was not even born.
Yeah, I figured that one out. Yeah.
She just passed away last year, if I'm not wrong. But she fought for the freedom of a whole country, and she did an amazing job doing it.
What was her industry? What business was she in, or what before she got into politics was?
I don't know how to say this in English, but periodismo. Her whole family was into it. My mom used to work at the newspaper in Nicaragua, and the family ran that.
Okay.
I don't know how you call it.
So it was the newspaper industry, business,
that
media.
Media.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Her husband got killed. He was a big newsman in Nicaragua, so they both were into like freedom and fighting for proper rights, like human rights and stuff like that. And he got killed just for saying it out loud.
We go through so many things. We get to meet so many people, and one of the things I was really excited about having Amanda on the show was just so that we can understand the differences that people, the challenges that we all go through. I think too often, at least in the life that I've grown up in, we take things for granted.
Yeah.
And we say, why can't you do this? Or why can't you do that? And then when we get to meet those people that struggle with just, coming to the United States and learning English, it's amazing,
I joke a lot with my mom. Like, she's my best friend, and I always tell her, like, I cannot believe you used to send me to school with sandwiches made of beans, black bean sandwich. For us, beans are common in Nicaragua, and then sending you to school to eat that. When I was a kid, for me, it was embarrassing, but I didn't know the struggle they were going through.
Yeah.
And then now I realize that if my parents asked me for anything, they got it.
Yeah. Yeah. You had mentioned too in class one time that one of your goals is to be able to buy your parents a house, which would be an incredible thing to do.
I'm going to.
Yeah,
I will.
You will. Yeah, you
Yeah.
will. Not I'm going to. Right? She's
will.
learning well in class. That's good. You're listening.
Yes.
You're listening. Well, this has been an amazing hour to spend with you. I appreciate you coming in here. I know you've got some big meetings coming up within your world. I would love to have you come back again sometime and spend some more time. I know John Waldrop from our class
God,
is
yes.
he's anxious to watch this and see.
I got to have breakfast with them yesterday, actually, at Miapa.
Did you?
Yeah, with Sean, too.
With
Yes.
two awesome guys from Comfort Temp.
Yes.
Just wonderful people to work with inside the classroom. So Sean Dennis
It made
and
my morning
John
way
Wall.
better.
Yeah. John,
Yes, John.
I don't know how you cannot have a much better day after you sit down and talk with John.
Out of,
I'm going to have him come in for the.
Right?
You may regret that statement. That's awesome. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reagan. Thank you, Amanda. This is, coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill here at Celebration Point inside the Coach's Podcast Room. This has been Motivation U, the podcast.